Hello everyone, myself Shama Shah and today I am going to explain you class 11th accountancy topic basic accounting terms. Students, I have already taken two lectures on this particular topic, lecture 1 and 2, and have followed this following terms in those particular video. So if you want to understand that, you can see those videos again. Now we'll continue with the rest of the terms, and they are debit and credit. So in an accounts we need to prepare different type of accounts, and they always have two sides. One is debit side and another one is credit side. There are rules for debit and credit, or there are rules that which account will be debited and which account will be credited, but those rules you will learn in next chapters. Now, debit side and credit side. The left side of the account is known as debit side, whereas right side of the account is known as credit side. And whenever an account is to be debited, entry is posted on the debit side of that particular account, and in the same way, whenever an account is to be credited, entry will be posted on the credit side of that particular account. Now the next term, that is inventory, or you can say stock. Students, stock, it is the most common word you must have heard every now and then, but in accounts inventory is generally used for the stock. Now stock are the amount of goods, tangible, that is assets held by a firm for sale or using it in producing goods for sale. So it may be a raw material, may be a finished goods, or even it may be a work in progress. So we can say that stock is divided into three parts: stock of raw material, stock of work in progress, and stock of finished goods. And as a stock is an asset for the firm, it is shown on the asset side of balance sheet, and a stock is always considered as a current asset. And its value, so what value you will write in the balance sheet depends upon its cost for you, and the market value prevails in the market. So whichever is lower, that you need to record in the balance sheet. Now the next term is discount. Student, you must always heard discount received or discount given. So discount is the rebate and allowance given by seller to the buyer. So whatever is seller giving to the buyer is known as discount. So for seller it will become discount given, and for buyer it will become discount received. Now discount can be of two types. It may be a trade discount or it may be a cash discount. So some points are important to note about trade discount and cash discount. They are: any reduction in the price by the seller when purchaser buy goods of certain quantity. That means whatever quantity you are buying, on basis of that your seller will give you some discount. But this type of discount, that is trade discount, is not recorded in the books of account. For an example, the price is 100 rupees and the seller is allowing you 5% of trade discount. So you are purchasing that product at 95 rupees. So you will not record 5 rupees of trade discount in your books, you will record it directly 95 rupees purchase. Whereas cash discount, whenever discount allowed for timely payment of the amount due, that is known as cash discount. So whenever you are paying for your purchase to the suppliers or to the seller, if you are paying it on time or before the time, the seller may give you cash discount. And cash discount is always recorded in the books of account, and it is an expense for the party who is allowing the discount and income for the party who is going to receive the discount. Next is cost. So when cost is the amount of expenditure incurred on or attributable to a specific article, product or activity. So whatever expense you are doing for a particular activity, that is known as cost. But cost can be divided in accounts in two parts. It may be a direct cost or it may be a indirect cost. Now let us understand what is direct and what is indirect cost. Direct cost is identifiable with the product or services being produced. For example, if you are producing a table, so whatever is the raw material or whatever is the direct expense related to that, for an example, whatever wood you will use in manufacturing that particular table will be known as the direct cost. Whereas indirect cost is not identifiable with the product or services being produced. For an example, same, when you are producing a table, the rent of the factory where the table has been manufactured will comes under indirect cost, that will not come under direct cost. So cost is the amount of expenditure and it can be divided into two parts, direct cost and indirect cost. Now the next term is revenue. Revenue means the money received, or even if you have not received, it is receivable in business in future, then it will be termed as revenue. That means you can say that when you are selling in cash or whether you are selling it on credit, whatever amount that is receivable to you or you have received, that is known as your revenue. For an example, sale of goods, rent received, commission received, dividend received, etc. But it should be of revenue nature. Now the next is expense. So expenditure I have explained you in my previous video. Now expense. Expense is the cost incurred for generating revenue. And revenue I have just explained you now. Generating revenue, whatever cost has been incurred is known as expense. It is a cost that has expired, was used up, and it is debited to trading account and profit and loss account depending upon whether it is direct cost or whether it is indirect cost respectively. That means if it is a direct cost will be recorded in trading account, and if it is indirect cost it will be recorded in the profit and loss account. For an example, salaries, wages, rent, any expenses need to be written off, or any cost of goods sold. Now the next term is prepaid and outstanding expenses. Expenses we have seen just now, but expenses can again be divided into two parts. It may be a prepaid expense or may be an outstanding expense, or you have already paid. So let us understand first what do we mean by prepaid expense. An expense that has been paid in advance and the benefit of which will be available in the coming years. For an example, suppose you have taken a shop from someone on rent on 1st of January, and on that day only you have paid him 1 month rent. And in that case, as you have not used the benefit of it, that expense on 1st January will be prepaid expense for you, and it will be accounted as an asset in the relevant accounting year, and it belongs to and shows as current asset in the balance sheet. Now coming to outstanding expense. Any expense that has been incurred but has not been paid, that is debited to profit and loss account or maybe trading account depending upon direct cost or indirect cost. So any expense for which you have used the benefit but till now you have not paid the amount, then it is known as your outstanding expense. And as it is the amount that you need to pay in future, it will become the liability for the firm, and it will be a current liability and it will be shown on the liability side of balance sheet. And the next term is depreciation, amortization and depletion. Student, you must be knowing that whatever asset we have purchased, maybe a car, maybe building, maybe machinery, furniture, whatever, whenever you will use it, by the time passes its value will definitely decrease, and these three terms are related to the decrease in the value of assets but for different assets. So let them understand. Depreciation is a decrease in the value of tangible asset. So whatever assets you can see, you can touch, like car, building, furniture, etc., if the value of those assets, those tangible assets are decreasing, then you will say that it is depreciated and it is a non-cash expense. Now coming to next, that is amortization. Student, there can be many intangible assets with the firm like goodwill, patents, copyrights. And if there is any decrease in the value of intangible asset, we will say it is amortization. So amortization of goodwill, amortization of patents, and so on. And the last one is depletion. Depletion is the word that is used for decrease in the value of natural resources. For an example, if you are having mines and the value of mine has decreased, so you will say that there is a depletion in your firm. And last one is accounting period. Student, it is a period for which books are balanced and the financial statements are prepared. And financial statement, that means trading account, profit and loss account, and balance sheet. Every businessman prepare this final accounts at the end of a particular time period, and that is known as accounting period. Generally, accounting period consists of 12 months. However, the beginning of the accounting period may differ from firm to firm. For an example, one entity may follow the regular calendar year, that is January to December, while another organization may follow April to March as the accounting period. Students, these were the most common accounting terms used in accounting. And next we will continue in the next video.